How you guys doing? Everybody doing well? Awesome, awesome. We've got a real decent crowd on here tonight, and we're going to talk about email marketing, the art and science of getting people to click your links, to open your emails, to buy stuff from your emails. And if you guys want to just go ahead and say hello in the chat, make sure that you interact in there a lot because that's one of the places that we want to we want to see you, we want to feel you, we want to see your energy. I'm going to give you guys as much as I can on this webinar tonight, and I mean the only thing that I ask in return is that you guys give me everything that you got too. So we got Valerie on here. I see Wilms is coming in from Tampa, Carlos from Houston, Betty, James, Gino. What's going on, guys? So glad to have you on. I am going to talk about one of my favorite subjects tonight. I'm going to talk about email marketing, and email marketing is kind of one of those things that it's not really it's not really one of the it's not really one of the hold on a second. It's not really something that is it's not really something that's talked about. It's talked about a whole lot, but oftentimes people don't really say anything, and that's kind of one of the big problems with email marketing is that so many people are talking about building your list, developing a relationship with your list, all this kind of stuff, but nobody's really saying anything. And so what I want to do is give you guys some context in some actual some meat and potatoes of what should you be doing, how should you be writing your emails. Now I'm going to say this. Some people are asking, is this live? Yes, this is live. Unless you're watching the replay, this is live, Mike. So one of the cool things about email marketing, and I'll just give you some brief history. When I started online, I didn't know anything about email marketing. I didn't know anything about list building. But what I did know is that what I was doing was not working. That's what I did know. And what I was doing at the time was I was essentially going in and I started out in network marketing, which is a good place for any entrepreneur really to start. And a lot of you guys probably have either been in a network marketing company at one time or may even be involved in one now. And so when I got started, I was running around. I was chasing friends and family. I'm not college educated. I'm not even high school educated. So I didn't have any marketing knowledge, and quite frankly, I don't really know if they teach. I don't think they teach a lot of this stuff in college, anyways. And so I had to sort of learn a lot of this stuff, on my own. And so one of the things that I kept hearing so much of was list building. Was you need to build your list. You need to develop a relationship with your list, because if you don't, then you're not going to really have a business. And so I want to show you something here real quick, just to jump right into things. I want to go ahead and show my screen. You guys should now be able to see my screen, okay? And so I want to show you a slide, okay? And basically what this slide is all about all about essentially building your automated lead machine, okay? And also building what I call your database. So I want to sort of show you what this looks like so you can see the visual. So the internet is real simple. In internet marketing, regardless of whether you're doing e-com, whether you're doing affiliate products, whether you're doing coaching and consulting, or whether you're selling your own stuff, it all kind of follows this same process. And the process happens first when somebody clicks typically a link on Facebook or YouTube or Google or some other site, right? Whether it be a blog post, something. typically somewhere where you're running some sort of an advertisement. And then they're going to come to a page. And these pages are called, they're called landing pages. They're called squeeze pages. They're called a variety of different things. And somebody will opt into that page. Now, this is just a real simple example. There can be pages that are a little bit longer. Some have videos on them. Some have videos in text. Some just have text. Some have text and images. What I found is you just have to split test pages against other pages. And the longer that you sort of work with Legendary Marketer and myself, you're gonna see us come out with a lot of different things as we start to sort of really kind of get some momentum in the company, and we'll be split testing lots of different stuff. I found that sometimes the more surprising pages outconvert the maybe a simpler page or a page with less graphics or less design. It's not always what you think is going to works online. So that's why it's important to test things. So anyways, you're going to get the click from one of these platforms. You're going to hopefully, in exchange for their email, you're going to offer them something of value. And this is the simple process. You can build $1 million a year business just like this. After they enter their email into your website, your landing page, in exchange for something of value, okay, whether it be a promise of you're going to show them something, some sort of a download, some video, some training, some webinar that you're going to give them. Obviously, it needs to have value to them. It needs to apply to them. It needs to be something that they're going to, that they need or that they want. If you're trying to market, weight loss products to people who are not overweight, you're not going to have very much success. If you're trying to market maternity clothes to women who are not pregnant, you're not going to have very much success. So if you're trying to market, how to generate more leads to network marketers, or how to generate 100 leads a day to any product that you want to internet or affiliate marketers, you're probably going to have some success. Right? Because there's some general things that all marketers, all internet marketers are looking for. There's some general things that all maternity, expecting mothers are looking for. There's typically a couple of things that most young men are looking for. And I've got a lot of friends who are in, the dating niche. So they sell how to get the girl, information products. Which that's the business primarily that I've been in for the past 7 years, is selling information. There's if young men are interested in gains, right, muscles, they're interested in sex, and they're interested in money, and so so I've got several guys that I know who market explicitly to men, and sometimes some of them specialize in niche in gains, like building muscles. Some of them specialize in making money. Some of them specialize in getting more dates. So my point in that little small rant was basically whatever you're offering on your landing page better damn well apply to the person who you're marketing and targeting. Now here's where it gets interesting, is once they put their email into your squeeze page, your landing page for your free offer, then they're going to go on this little thing up here in the top. And I just want to check in with you guys to make sure that we're still coming across loud and clear. We still loud and clear? Okay, awesome. So once they enter their email into your landing page, they're going to go over into what's called your digital database, also known as your autoresponder. Okay, and this is where essentially all your leads get housed, and it's where you have the ability to not only follow up with them automatically, but you can also broadcast them anytime that you want. Okay, when you're housing these leads in your digital database or your autoresponder, that is where your money is at. That's where that is your business. Okay. If you're doing anything every single day, let me put it like this: every single day you should have one focus and one focus only, and that's to think of ways to generate more people on your list. Period. There's nothing else to be doing. If you're creating content, it should be with that in mind. If you're shooting a video, it should be with that in mind. If you are doing a Facebook Live, it should be with that in mind. How are you generating leads into your list so you can either follow up with them, so you can, because here's why. Because people do business in their inbox. People don't always do business on Facebook. They don't always do business on instant messenger. A lot of times people will do business on Google because they're straight up searching things. But when somebody's on Facebook, although Facebook ads is extremely popular right now, there's no doubt about that. People are not particularly looking. They didn't get on Facebook to buy stuff. That's why you need to have a good ad. You need to have a good funnel. Most importantly, you need to be capturing those leads, right? Because over time, you may have some people who buy right away. You may have some people who buy 15 or 30 days down the road. You may have some people who buy 1, 2, 3 years down the road. So that's the idea of building an internet marketing business that's based around building an email list. It's just that simple. Everything that you do ought to be following this particular process right here, and putting people onto your autoresponder, into your digital database, and so you can A, either follow up with them, or B, you can broadcast them. Okay? Does that make sense to everybody? Is that a good, simple overview? Is that clear for you guys? You guys can understand that? That's your digital database. Okay? One of the things, and I just want to leave you with this one thought. Data is always going to be your most profitable thing. It's always going to be your most profitable thing. It's not going to be your Facebook profile, although, if you have a Facebook page and you're developing an audience, that can be profitable. But you don't own that particular database. Facebook does. Okay? That's why Facebook's able to command your money and have you pay them, is because they own that database, and they know, because of their analytics and because of the personal information that you and I give them, they know what we like, what we want. So they're able to go and they're able to take people's take people's money and advertise to us the things that we want. But they have the database. So you need to be having your database, because then you can take your database and you can either email them, Duplicate Dave or Legendary Marketer. You can email them whatever you want, your own coaching products, other affiliate launches if you want to. Okay. You can do all of those things if you, and only if you have your own database. Okay. So let's move on. Looks like my screen sharing has stopped here. It just does whatever it wants to do. It just does whatever it wants to do, people. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to take you into my digital database. Okay. Let me see here. Boom. All right. All right. So let me share my screen again. All right. Screen share is back. I'm going to take my camera off. Okay. I'm going to screen share and take my camera off. And okay. I'm going to do this. I'm going to pull this out. Slide this over. All right. So if you guys are involved in Legendary Marketer, you might find this familiar. This is SendLane, and SendLane is an autoresponder. So it's one of those digital database services. Okay. So what I want to take you through is I want to talk to you about a couple of different things. First and foremost, if you guys are involved in Legendary Marketer, as you know, first and foremost, you should be involved as a customer, as a member, just to be getting this information. If somebody invited you to this, then you should get back with that person. And those of you who are affiliates soon will have other promotions to where you could promote these kind of events. But if you are an affiliate, okay, if you're an affiliate of of Legendary Marketer, you'll see we basically gave you guys a 45-day email sequence, okay? And you'll notice in that sequence that there's sort of there's sort of a storytelling element to that. So there's two different things that you can do. First and foremost, and this might be called something different in different email services. First and foremost, you've got your autoresponders here. Okay. Now, if I set up an autoresponder, this autoresponder is going to go out every single day. Okay. So for a particular campaign, okay, you can set your emails to go out automatically, and those emails are essentially going to, they're going to typically run every 24 hours, and they're going to run whether you're sitting over your computer or not. So that's the beautiful thing about an autoresponder, is if you set up your autoresponder correctly, which means that you have all of those follow-up messages for when somebody opts in or subscribes to your email list through your landing page, then they're going to get those follow-up emails, and that's where a lot of passive income is going to come from. For example, every single day I'm placing ads and I'm promoting people into the Duplicate Dave sales funnel. Okay. Now, I can stop my traffic any day that I want to, and I'm still going to continue to get sales because I have 45 emails that are loaded up inside of my autoresponder, and those messages typically will drip. Every subscriber is going to be on a different email depending on what day they opted into my email list, but I get several different sales each and every day because that have nothing to do with fresh traffic because of that follow-up sequence. Okay, so that can easily be built in here in SendLane. It can be built in any autoresponder that you're currently using by just simply creating, clicking create an autoresponder or whatever it's called in another service. And then you just kind of write your emails out, whatever email you want to be first, whatever email you want to be second, whatever email you want to be third. Okay. What you'll notice, if, for example, you are a member and then you choose to be an affiliate with Legendary, you'll kind of notice in our emails that, there's some similarity to these emails. And that's really what I want to talk to you guys about. I want to go through and I want to actually create this particular, my list inside SendLane has 57,000 people on it. Okay. So every single day I get to email 57,000 people out. Okay. Which is pretty cool. Anytime I want to create a campaign, I'm going to create an email. They call it a campaign here. I want to go through and I want to talk to you about the different stages of writing emails. Okay. The first thing that you typically want to do is you're going to want to create a subject line. Okay. Now for me, the subject line is all about doing one of two things. It's about being either extremely clear about what it is that I'm doing. Like, for example, live training, live webinar on email copywriting starting at 9 p.m. Eastern. Don't miss this. Okay, so obviously that particular subject line is extremely clear. Another subject line, another style of subject line would be more of a curiosity-driven, more ambiguous subject line. Something like, this is where I make all my money. So two very different subject styles, two similar outcomes. Okay. The reason why I'm showing you these two different styles is because you have to find a style that's going to fit your personality. Okay. If you're somebody who is not really a creative type, like coming up with these style headlines doesn't come easy to you. Like, you're always somebody who's like afraid to screw something up, or you're afraid that you're not going to do it right. copywriting is not about being slick. I'm gonna bust some myths tonight that you've probably heard about, that are just not true. Okay, are we still coming in clear here? Looks like we're still coming in clear with the audio. Okay, awesome. Okay, most people will tell you that, writing copy is all about being slick. It's about, knowing the secret strategy, secret way to write. It's actually really not that at all. Okay, it's more important, and I want you to write this down, to be clear than cute. That's something that you need to always remember in your copy. It's more important to be clear than cute. Okay, I want you to remember that, because some of you guys are not particularly the creative, quote, cute types to where you can write these kind of subject lines. These are just as good, to where you're being clear, you're telling them what's going on. You're going to build a relationship with them to where they know what to expect. Down here, this style, which this has always been the style that I've taken, but I'll tell you what, I see some other copywriters who write this with this style, to where there's a little bit of curiosity, like with something like that, with the parentheses, don't miss this. But mostly I'm being clear. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go with what my style has typically been for the past 7 years, which is that. I'm going to click next. Okay. So now I'm going to choose what list. In all autoresponders, you do this. If you're blasting all of your lists, then you just choose all of them. For this example, I'm going to just go ahead and choose all of them. I'm going to click next. Now it's going to bring me to the opportunity to be able to write an email. Here's where you have some decisions to make. Okay, you can either choose cute little templates, or you can choose a plain template. I'm always going to go with a plain template, because what I found is that words matter more than design. So I see a lot of people who are trying to be cute with their emails and their websites, and they've got all these pretty, beautiful flowers and designs, and oftentimes what that ends up doing is just looking generic, right? It looks cheap, it looks generic, and it takes away from the words that you're trying to say, right? I see a comment in here that ugly sells, and you're absolutely right, okay? So here's some basics that I want you to remember with email copy, okay? First and foremost, and I'm gonna just kind of write this out, okay? So you guys can kind of see how I'm writing, but I'm also gonna basically share my notes inside of this email. First, you want your sentences to be short. Short. Let's see, 1 to 2 sentence paragraphs. Okay. Oh, let me of course fix my spelling here, because Lord knows I'm always messing words up. I love me some spell check. Okay, so first you want your sentences to be short. Okay, 1 to 2 sentence paragraphs. Okay. This is some of the stuff that I wish people would have taught me when I first got started online, because what I would do was I would go, okay, and I would take let me try to find an ad in here or something. So just let me just take some copy that I wrote for an ad, and let me just pretend this is my email, right? Let me just pretend this copy is my email. Well, what I did when I first got started was I basically blocked all of my copy up like this, okay? And you want to know how difficult that is to read? Unbelievably difficult, okay? And most of the time when somebody opens an email on their phone or on their computer, they're not even going to make an effort to try to read that. Oftentimes they're not, just because it looks like a big clump of text. If you notice, every great marketer, every great salesperson, whether it be their emails, whether it be their sales pages, they're going to space out their sentences. So if I've got a long sentence like that, I'm going to go ahead and space it out to where it's only one sentence a piece. And that's exactly what I did with this ad. Okay. I spaced it out to where it was only one sentence a piece, because there was plenty there. I didn't need to even include two sentences, right? Aaron says lots of white space. Absolutely. Easy on the eyes, man. Lots of white space. Okay. So the first thing you want to do is you want your sentences to be short, 1 to 2 sentence paragraphs. Okay. Plain and simple. Second of all, be clear, and I'm just going to write this down, before you try and be cute. Okay. One of the biggest thing, and I used to do this a lot. Again, I've gotten better with copy over the years. A lot of times, and I used to get on people that worked with me close too, because back when we first got started and we started to fall in love with writing copy and stuff, we would write these unbelievable, like you would need some sort of it felt like the Da Vinci Code, like you were sitting there trying to decipher this freaking email, like what the hell we were trying to say, and trying to add all of this hypnosis and this NLP and all this kind of stuff. And quite frankly, it just takes away from the message, right? That's cute, right? But it wasn't clear. So I couldn't get people to take action like I'm able to get them to take action nowadays, because I'm a lot more clear, with my emails. I'm a lot more clear with my copy. Now let's talk a little bit about length of copy, right? There's two different kind of styles that you can go: short emails or long emails. Okay. I prefer, and here's what I mean by short emails. Okay. Short emails would be something like, you will lose sleep after you see what I reveal in this video. Okay. Click now before I take it down. Okay. David. Okay. So say that was my email, right? Say that right there, that bolded portion was my email. Okay. That is typically more of a clickbait style. Sure, you might get a lot of people to click it. And quite frankly, writing an email that is that short is definitely going to be better than not writing an email at all. Right. So I'm kind of going to try to give you some ideas and give you permission to kind of be a little bit different and switch it up inside of your emails, so you don't feel that you're always locked into one particular way. Okay. So if you're struggling, you've got writer's block, you can always lean on being short. Okay. So let me write that down. Writer's block. Just keep it short, right? Go for more of the clickbait style, or clickbait kind of style copy, and that's kind of what I call that copy. That's pretty clickbaitish, right? If you've got a primarily a business opportunity seeker list, which means that these people are just constantly looking for biz ops, right? And if you guys took my book recommendation a couple of weeks ago, which was by TJ Rowletter, which was How to Get Rich in the Opportunity Market, I still have that book recommendation today. You'll notice that people that are in that niche, that are in the internet marketing niche, typically if they're in the make money online niche, they're oftentimes going to click through on something like that. So it's not a bad email style. For me, though, I would recommend not doing that every single time. Okay? Not doing that every single time. If you want to do that occasionally, do it occasionally. But I'm a little bit more big on a medium to long email, because that way I get to really build a relationship. I get to share thoughts. And and if I write enough, I can eventually have people, okay, I can have people looking forward to reading my emails, okay? Boy, look at that. That's some lovely spelling. Okay, I can even get people looking forward to receiving my emails. Okay, here's the next tip that I'm going to give you inside of a medium to long email. That funny is money. Okay, and you can always use that in your marketing, whether it's on your Facebook post, whether it's on your whether it's on your ads, whether it's on your blog posts, whether it's in your videos, whether it's in your emails. Funny is money, right? And a medium to long email gives me the ability to add a little bit of humor inside of my emails. Okay. Next, stories sell, right? So I really got pretty famous back in 2010 and 2011 and 2012 because I was this really intense storyteller via email, and I still do it sometimes to this day. One of the things that I would oftentimes do is I would take situations, okay, from my daily life and write an email about it. So it didn't really matter what it was, right? Because I've kind of got that creative brain. And I want to talk about this kind of stuff because I want to make sure that you guys know that everybody's different, right? And you may not be able to see every little situation that happens in your life as like this amazing marketing tale that you can tell. I have that ability, I have that skill. And so if you have that sort of skill, that brain, then, pay attention to the things that are happening inside of your life on a daily basis. Oftentimes you're able to use those things, use those situations as, as selling points. You can tell a little story about what happened and tie it into, something about your business. Okay. Tie it into something about, the entrepreneur lifestyle, tie it into something about whatever the product is that you're selling, tie it in. I have, and you don't have to live by this, and you don't have to use, you don't have to be so, militant about this. But, one of the things that you can always remember is, never tell a story without making a point. Never make a point without telling a story. Okay. Now, again, sometimes people, they hear my advice, they hear, some of the tips that I give them, and they think, oh my gosh, I can never ever make a point again without telling a story because Dave said. That's not really what I'm saying. I'm just saying that if you're wondering, well, how do I take these little situations that happen in my life and turn them into little stories that I can use in my email, then think about it like, what is the point that you're trying to make? And that's kind of, like you can either start out with a point or start out with a story, but certainly, if you're looking to make a point, you can think about, has a story happened to me today or in the last couple of months or in my life that I could use to make this point? Or could I, what sort of point could I make from this little situation that came up today or came up last week? Okay. One of the other reasons that stories work in medium to longer style emails work is because I get to use analogies, right? And analogies are really powerful. They're very similar to stories, okay? Analogies and parables, because people typically are not going to remember a fact. They're not going to remember some piece of data. They're not going to remember that you told them that internet marketing was the best thing in the world, but they would remember an analogy or a parable. And that's one of the reasons why, religion has been so powerful in our life, is because, and I'm not saying particularly in your life, but just in society in general, is because, it's full of these powerful analogies and these parables that, you can say, and it applies to a million different things. You know what I'm saying? And if I tell a story about me getting clean and getting back on my feet and, coming from that's an analogy that, I can use if I'm trying to make the point that, there's always another opportunity for you to come back, no matter how far down you think you are, or no matter how far gone you think you are, right? Or how young or how old you think you are, right? So I've always used my personal story to, make that point, to get people to believe, and to be, really is all I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make a point, but I'm using the story to make the point. Okay. So I want you to understand that if you go into writing medium to long emails, then it's a commitment, right? It is a commitment. So you might want to start with, with small to medium or short to medium size emails. Maybe, a couple of sentences. Here's the thing that I can tell you that's most important that you must do is write. Okay, I'll tell you a little story here real quick, and I'm going to demonstrate what I'm talking about with the stories, the analogies. Okay, I'm trying to make a point right now to write. So I'm going to tell you a story. So back several years ago, I have a friend, and he would go in and he would go and make posts on Facebook and stuff like that. And his posts were really, they were really unbelievable. I mean, the way that he expressed himself was sort of like a combination between an 80-year-old with Alzheimer's and a 13-year-old girl who was, starting her period for the first time. And I say that just because it was that freaking extreme. I mean, when you read some of these posts, it was like, holy crap, dude. I mean, like, you're like on another level, right? You're like an emotional basket case. And so I said, man, dude, I said, when you write, it seems like you're like I'm reading something from like a 13-year-old, like teenager in distress. Right. And so obviously that was a difficult conversation to have, to say the least. But the point is that, this guy had a choice. He could either like take that and be offended and like never write again and say, oh my God, I'm so bad. Like I should never write again, because obviously everything that I do is horrible. Or, he could really start writing his ass off and really working and trying to learn how to write. And so he did that. And today, the posts that he puts out are some of the most magical, amazing posts. He's one of the best writers that I've ever, that I read nowadays. And it all stemmed from that one conversation. So what I'm telling you today is there's a good possibility that when you write, it sounds like a teenager in distress. It sounds like somebody who maybe even is uneducated and was never taught to read or write. I know for me, when I first started writing emails and sending emails out, people would send them back to me. They'd say, this is the worst thing that I've ever read. The grammar's horrible. You sound uneducated. And I was like, gosh, how do they know so much about me? Right. But, instead of getting offended, I figured out a way to make it work. So I would, send them to my wife or whoever to proofread them. And then I would get them back, and then I would tweak them again and send them out. So it was a commitment for me to learn how to write. And again, that's one of the big, huge benefits of Legendary, is that, we do the email follow-up for you. And one of the if you're obviously earning while you learn, that's what makes us so different. So you can sort of learn this stuff as you go. You don't have to be a professional email copywriter. You can also study the 45 emails, right? We've got a 45-day email series that goes out. You can study those emails, and you can kind of get an understanding of by looking at what works, looking at what's, what is, I guess one of the best ways to learn how to be a great marketer is to watch great marketers. It's to read great emails. So I would typically And I always do this even to this day. I have an email address I don't do any business out of it. And sometimes I don't check it for 4 or 5 days. And I've gotten a lot more disciplined and structured with the way that I do interact with email today, because, you can just get lost in other people's marketing. But I've got one specific email that I'll subscribe to people's list to, and I'll I don't subscribe to it so I can get sucked into their marketing, because I'm a marketer. So I'm not just constantly getting sucked into people's marketing, but I'll subscribe to their email list just to kind of look at their emails, just to kind of watch how they write. And oftentimes I'm to the point now to where I've kind of got my own style. I know what I'm doing. I know what to do. But over the years, that's been real helpful, right? It's definitely not in my main inbox. So I urge you guys to have separate email inboxes, one being your primary inbox, one being and I think that you should be sacred with your primary email inbox. Most of you guys, your primary email inbox has, like, for example, if you guys are involved in Legendary, like, obviously our email should go to your primary inbox because you're a customer here. You're involved in our community. Those should, like, things that you're a customer of, those should go into your primary inbox. But then you should have a marketer's inbox to where you can sort of, watch how some people write. You can learn from them. You can model them. You can swipe some of their stuff. Okay. Dave asking, where do you find your SendLane emails in your account? They're not automatically loaded into your account, Dave. They are they're loaded into a company account, and we do the follow-up for you. And then you can integrate your SendLane account in our back office. There's a video that shows how to do that. And if you're looking for that, of course, submit a support ticket, and somebody will help you out with that. But essentially how our system works is we do, you have a choice. You can either hook up your autoresponder and do the email follow-up yourself, to where you just send out your own emails or copy and paste our emails into your autoresponder. Or the preferred method is you actually let us do the email follow-up for you, and then as long as your SendLane account is integrated, we'll then just deposit that lead into your autoresponder once they've gone through the 45-day series. Then you don't need to do anything else, Dave. Okay, we will do the email follow-up for you. And if you have a question, guys, one of the beautiful things about Legendary Marketer is we've got the best support team in the entire industry. And if you think about this, right, we've got people on the phones, we've got coaches, we've got a support team that turns around like tickets like nobody's business. And so, you guys can get, like, nobody gets left behind. I did reference looking at the emails. Maybe I'm not understanding your question, Dave, but yeah, you could, if you're looking for the emails, just so you guys know, I can log into the Legendary back office here real quick and show you. Under the My Business tab over here, if you go to, if you scroll down on your My Business tab, you could come in here to the email copy, okay? And you've got your 45-day email sequence right here, okay? And so you can download that, and you can look at all the emails. So, I mean, if you want to see some unbelievably great email copy, is that what you were looking for, Dave? Cool, man. So if you want to see some unbelievably great email copy, you'll see in what's interesting about this follow-up series, which is what I always recommend people doing, is this 45-day email series is one constant story, okay? One constant story. It's 45 days of a continued conversation, okay, that's ongoing, which is why it is so effective, okay? Many of you guys are probably getting a significant amount of your sales, if you're a partner with us or an affiliate, from your follow-up email series. And yes, there are some videos that are referenced in that email series, and all of those emails are right here. Okay, or excuse me, all of those videos are right here, and we have them for each individual funnel. Okay. All right. So somebody had asked a question in here. Do you recommend using your emails as they are? I really do. I mean, there's no reason not to. Okay, there's no reason not to use them just as they are. If you guys are promoting this particular offer. Okay. So, calls to action. Okay, calls to action. We also call this a CTA, or call to action. Okay, one thing that you want to make sure that you do inside of your emails is you want to make sure that if your call to action is click here to watch the video, or let me word it like this. If you're trying to send people to a video, or wherever you're trying to send them from your email, you shouldn't just go and for example, if I'm writing whatever, if I'm sending them to this first video, or if you're sending them to one of the videos, let's just take this one for example. Okay, I'm going to take this link, I'm going to copy this link, and I'm not going to just straight post this link in my email. Okay, number one, it won't be as effective with the email providers. It could possibly bounce. It could possibly get put into spam. You want to hyperlink it. Okay, this is just something that you always like to do. So what I like to do is I like to take my hyperlinks, and it's just a preference. Okay, I bold them, I underline them, and then I link it right here. So now all of a sudden, all of my calls to action, they look professional. If I had a sentence, like I was linking I was linking up a part of the sentence, I would do the same thing. I would go ahead, I would click bold, I would click underline, and then I would link up that particular, whatever the word was that I wanted to link up. But as far as the amount of call to actions that you should have inside of your email, guys, I've heard a lot of gurus, try to act like they know what's better, what's worse. The truth of the matter is that guys, as long as you have a call to action, above the fold. So my rule is that if somebody is there's a possibility that they're going to be able to open that email and not see a link somewhere on the page without scrolling, then you should probably have a call to action somewhere on the top portion of that page. Now, what I think is annoying, and I think it's obnoxious, and I think it's unprofessional, is having a link like every couple of sentences. It's just unprofessional. Like, you don't need to insult people's intelligence. If they want to read your email, they're going to read your email, and they'll click the link at the bottom of the page. I'm all about simplicity. I'm about minimalistic kind of principles. So if there's a question of, am I overdoing this, or should I take a minimalistic approach? I think you should always take a minimalistic approach. So typically I'll have one, maybe two links inside of my emails, and sometimes an additional link might be down in the PS line. Okay. So that brings me to, should you have a PS line or not? Well, it really depends. One of the main reasons why I like to use PS lines is to sum up your email if you have a long email. Okay. So one of the reasons why I say that is because, oftentimes, and I want you to think about yourself. Okay. What do you do a lot of times when you open an email, or especially when you land on a sales page? One of the first things that you do is you'll scroll all the way down. I just know this because we all do it. You'll scroll all the way down to the bottom, and you'll try to figure out what the price is. Yes or no? Okay, am I right? You'll try to figure out what the price is first. Okay, well, oftentimes, a lot of times, what somebody will do is, if they open an email, a lot of times they'll scroll the email, okay, and they'll whatever is going through their mind, they're trying to make a decision whether they actually even want to read this damn thing. So you have some people who are readers and some people who are skimmers, okay? And so for your skimmers, if you're going to have a longer email and you're going to use a PS line, oftentimes you can just sum up your email with 2 to 3 sentences at the bottom of the PS line and say, hey, if you're a skimmer like me, if you actually are a skimmer, or say if you're a skimmer type, here's the bullet points. I'm doing a webinar tonight. It's on email copy. Email copies been responsible for the majority of my income online. I definitely recommend you showing up. Something like that. So it's short, it's simple, it's sweet, and a lot of times it's a great place to inject a little bit of humor in there, right? Hey, you a skimmer, want the footnotes, right? Or hey, caught you, scrolling to the bottom again, just trying to catch the bullet point or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm struggling with my humor right now, right? Not feeling very funny in this moment. But it's a great idea. It's a great strategy to use a PS line, right? That way you are capturing those longer readers. You're also capturing the skimmers. Okay. One of the things, just as far as, kind of the thing, one of the things that I've always liked to do is, like, for example, if you notice in your emails, typically at the bottom of the email, and it doesn't show it right now, but at the bottom of the email, if I can pull up, for example, one of my emails, one of the things that I like to do is, and I think this is one of the ones from SendLane, I like to try to give myself a little bit of space from the bottom of the email here, because if you write your email and you don't give yourself any space down here, then what's the link that they can click so easily? It's the unsubscribe button. Now, you do want people to be able to unsubscribe fairly easily. You don't want to hold people hostage on your list, because otherwise they start hitting spam in the inbox and it hurts your rating. But I like to give myself a little bit of space from my last words down to the unsubscribe button. So, I'll either put an image in there, or I'll very simply just, hit space a few times and give myself a little bit of space there, so the reader knows that was the end of my email. And, and anything down below that is either legal information, it's whatever, it's the unsubscribe link, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. The bottom line with all of this stuff, guys, is that, it's going to take a lot of, it's going to take practice, right? I'm gonna just stop sharing my screen here for a second. It's gonna take practice. Okay. It's going to take you guys, really making a commitment to, to say, hey, I'm gonna do my best to write a couple of emails each week, right? I want to do my best to try to work on my copy skills. And obviously it doesn't matter whether you're writing, last week I gave you guys a strategy of writing a social media post and then having that double as your email copy. The cool thing is that, everything that I taught you today, okay, everything that I taught you today, it applies to your social media post as well, right? So everything that I talked about today also applies to, anything that you're going to write on social media. So again, all my social media posts, I try not to make them so blocky to where there's no white space in between the post. One of the other things that I'll do, a lot of times is I'll try to, and I used to do this, I don't do it so much anymore, but I would actually, if once I wrote about 5 or 6 letters inside of a sentence, I would hit return, and I would create a new sentence. So I even was able to keep my sentences thin. I don't do that so much anymore. I'll let my sentences run over instead of making them kind of thin like that. But Facebook gives you the ability to kind of keep your and what Facebook did was, Facebook has so much traffic that they did different tests, and they were able to determine that the 500 pixel width was like the width that, because there's different apps that you can use that show where people are looking at on the screen and stuff, and they were able to determine that that was the easiest primary width, most popular width for people to actually read their text and not kind of get distracted and start looking at something else. And so that just goes back to talk about kind of keeping lots of white space there, keeping it easy for people to read, and keeping that flow right down to that link. So so it kind of your email just leads people in a very simple way right down to click on the link. I'm going to give you guys a book recommendation, and then we'll do a little giveaway or something. And so I want to make a book recommendation because I really think that you guys should all read this book. Okay, and it's the .com Secrets book. It's by my buddy. Russell Brunson, and so I just posted the link there. Russell will give you the book, and you just cover the shipping. I've actually got the book sitting right here. I've got this book, okay, and if you don't have it, I recommend pretty much everything that guy sells. He's a great marketer. He's a friend of mine. Known him for a long time. He's been an affiliate in a lot of my companies. As well as I've promoted a lot of his stuff. Also, this book really, it talks about what he calls his Seinfeld email strategy, and Seinfeld emails, and one of the things that he kind of goes in depth with in there, and he talks about this, similar to what I was talking about a second ago with sort of the entertainment aspect. One of the things that you'll notice about in all my emails, and this is one thing that you should remember in all of your marketing, is that people want to be entertained as much as they want to be taught. Okay, most people don't want to be educated; they want to be entertained. So if you can combine that I like that, Aaron, that infotainment. If you can combine that education, that entertainment with that education, you're going to be super successful. Okay. And so that's one of the things that he talks about inside of this book. I think it's very well written, and there's just a lot of value. He's got, a lot of his stuff, is got an incredible amount of value. I don't think really he puts out anything that doesn't. And so I'd recommend you guys pick up that book. I'll put the link in there a couple of more times. So you guys can pick up that book. And I'm sure he's got some other stuff that he offers inside of his funnel because he's a great marketer. And I recommend picking up, anything that he offers. So if you can afford it, it's within your spending budget this week, I would definitely pick his stuff up. But start with the book, because one of the reasons why I'm recommending this book to you this week is because I want to try to recommend a book or some sort of learning material for you every single week. But in section 2, your communication funnel, he talks first about your attractive character, but then he goes out into the soap opera sequence and the daily Seinfeld sequence. And what he's talking about there is email. Okay, that's what he's talking about, is email copy. And so it's a great resource for you to learn and get more ideas about entertaining inside of your emails, right? And that is ultimately what would separate you from the majority of other people out there, is that if you can develop an ability to entertain people inside of your emails, right? If you can be somebody who can share value, and it's not really particularly always about teaching. if I was to make you choose whether you were going to be entertaining or educational inside of your marketing, what do you think I would actually choose? What do you think I would personally choose if somebody forced me to do that? Waiting. So I would actually choose entertaining more than I would choose educating. Okay? And the reason why that is because there is a million different ways for people to acquire information. We are literally in the information age, okay? To where there is an abundance, an overload of information. Okay? There's more information out there than anybody knows what to do with. And so if the only thing that you're doing is you're just simply just educating people and you're not integrating any entertainment into your marketing, then it's not that you can't be successful. It's just that you run the risk of sort of blending in with everybody else. So one of the reasons why, a lot of people kind of looked at me back in the day when I started really being honest and telling my story about, my drug addiction, about being homeless, and about, sleeping on my dad's couch and all this different kind of stuff. One of the things that people didn't realize was, sure, not only was I turning my mess into a message, not only was I being inspirational, not only was I was sharing value, but I was also entertaining people, right? That's a powerful, entertaining story. And sure, it's my life, right? And I've dealt with my personal, difficulties and challenges to the point to where, I can talk about them and they're not traumatizing me anymore because I've worked on myself and I've come out of them. But I mean, now, you talk about like my life and it's been like a movie, for God's sakes, and we've all got that. We've all got the ability to be able to, dig up some gold from our stories, whether it was something that happened in your day to day, or whether it was like, for example, I've got an 11-month-old daughter. I mean, this kid is like a freaking Energizer bunny, and she's the cutest thing I've ever seen. And I'm not just being biased. Like, I know there's babies out there, and like everybody thinks their baby's the cutest, but like this kid is like legitimately cute as hell. And it's like she was running around today in the yard, and it was like there is so many freaking stories that I could tell about this kid. I just, right now, she's so young, I kind of, I'm protecting her a little bit, her youth. And I may do that for forever, but I can remember one time my wife got into an accident and she broke her neck. Somebody was actually was running from the cops. They ran a red light and they slammed into a rental car. So it was a tiny little car that my wife was driving. My 17-year-old was in the car, which back at that time was like 13 or 14. She broke her neck. And so, I remember writing an email about that. So every single thing that happens in my life, I'm always looking for ways to turn those, those situations, those incidents, those, freak, especially if it's like dramatic or entertaining, then I'm going to try to use. And I love that Andre says, write an email like it's your diary. Absolutely. I've used my business as my diary. I've used the Facebook, the platform, my autoresponder. I've used it as if it was my diary, because the more vulnerable, the more connected, the more, the more I can create an emotional connection and kind of get somebody feeling like we're friends, right? And so that's the other thing that I want to remind you of inside of your emails is and I told you this last week as well on part one, write like you're talking to your best friend. Okay. So, I mean, that can even mean that, you use, kind of messed up grammar. If you look at great copywriting, like an English professor, it would make them freaking cringe. because a lot of the grammar and the punctuation and stuff like that is kind of used in a weird way. So find a style that works for you, and just write something every single day. Okay, write something every single day, and definitely go and pick up grab that book from Russell. Okay, so all right. So I'm going to meet you guys over on Facebook, on my Facebook page. Okay, and so let me get you that link. I'm gonna go over there and I'm gonna give some cash away. Okay, so last week, I had a couple of winners. Okay, so we're gonna give some cash away, baby. All right, I'm gonna meet you over there. Okay, so I'm gonna leave this up. But definitely go over and I'll tell you, obviously leave this up for a second, and I'm going to grab my phone. I was charging it, and then I'll tell you when I'm live over there. So hold on, I'll be right back. All right. All right. So I'm just typing out. I'm just typing out my little description here. All right, boom. All right. What's going on, Facebook? This is Dave Sharp, and we've got a bunch of people on our Marketer Monday live training tonight, and so I am looking forward to hanging out with you guys here on Facebook now. All right, cool. Let's see here. Yo, Facebook, drop some likes, drop some hearts, drop a comment if you're just coming on. All right, all you guys on the webinar, I'm live on this link. What's going on, Facebook? A lot of people popped on fast. All right, cool. Andre, Sean, what's going on? All right, guys, I'm going to actually end this. I'm going to end this webinar, okay? And kick you guys off. So here is my book recommendation. All right, that's that. And then live. All right, here it is. Here's the link. All right, that's the live link. All right, so everybody, if you're on the webinar, I'm going to end the webinar, and I'm going to be on Facebook Live over here, okay? So this is your last opportunity to click that link, and then you can also look me up on Facebook over here, and I'm going to be on my fan page, and we've got a lot of people who are already on. So as soon as you jump on my fan page, you'll see a Facebook Live that's happening, and you'll see a bunch of people hitting like, hitting hearts. If you guys like the webinar, hit a bunch of hearts, just like as much as you can, like until your finger breaks. Show me that was a good one. All hearts too, no likes. I'm gonna search you out and find you if you're just liking and you're not showing me that heart love. Right? All right, guys. Links are done. I'm gonna end the webinar, and I'm gonna be investing in your business over on Facebook. So I'm gonna give some cash away, and try to come up with some good questions. Guys, I'm gonna have to come up with some tough questions. But meet us over here on Facebook. All right. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you over there. Come over there. Click the link right there in the comment section, and we'll see you guys over on Facebook. All right. All right. Cool. I'm ending it in 5, 4, 3, 2. See you guys. Pop over on Facebook.